Here's an interesting example of Synectics, which we applied at an ideas centre held the other week. The issue that we're looking to address was all about embedding company values within an organisation, truly and deeply within the very fabric of the business. As I said, the technique we were using was Synectics, which is derived from the Greek for joining dissimilar things together. So it builds upon the idea of taking a problem and then taking some sort of random stimulation to provoke a thought process, acting as a metaphor for the solution to the problem. And the random object which we chose to start that process was a dumbbell. In fact, one of the weights off a dumbbell, and that's what we call the provocation, which was the start of the solution generating process, or the idea generation process. Now, it was kind of interesting because the barbell itself, or the weight itself, as we started to explore it, we thought about the fact that within a gym it's possible to ratchet the weights up. You start with a light weight and you build up to a higher weight over time, so you have your bodybuilding types in the background, but certainly as a novice, as you come in, you inevitably start off with those lighter weights and just generally flex the muscles and build them up over time. Which then started us thinking about the values in an organisation and what kind of parallel you can draw from that. Because all too often, when one joins an organisation, the values of the organisation are presented and it's expected that you embrace them all fully from the very start, which in some circumstances may be straightforward, but in others might be quite complicated. In this particular organisation, for example, one of the values was learning. Well, that's a relatively straightforward value, and once one understands that, we can imagine that every employee ought to be embedding the learning value within everything they do. But one of the other values was pioneering. Now, pioneering is slightly more challenging, not entirely clear how that would fit, and one would have to be within the business for a while before we learnt about it. So from a dumbbell perspective, that's equivalent to saying, well, when a new employee starts at the organisation, maybe they should start with the light weights, and in terms of values that might mean learning, so start embedding that, flexing those muscles, and over time one can aspire to develop the pioneering value, building up to those heavier weights where you've got the sharply profiled, tense, taut frames of the heavyweight bodybuilders lurking in the corner, people who've been with the business for some time and can act as role models to which one can aspire and understand the pioneering value. Quite a different approach, as I say, from the majority of organisations that just launch you into all values within the business in one shot, and this idea being to flex up over time and practice and embed those values on a progressive basis. Interesting model.